Hello everyone, today we are going to see how to use RunPod to run ComfyUI. What is it RunPod? RunPod is a website that allows you to rent a GPU to run programs like ComfyUI, so programs that needs a lot of RAM and VRAM to function. And why this? Because of course, if you have an old PC, or if you don't have a powerful enough PC to run something like ComfyUI to generate your images and your videos, you can use this by pay just a little fee and deploy the GPU that you want to use it to generate all the content that you want. So at first sight, this is a little bit intimidating. There are a few steps that you have to make it run effortlessly, but don't be scared, it is much simpler than you think, and when you start to get your hand on this, you will see how it is easy to use and to deploy a GPU to use ComfyUI. So this is the main page of RunPod, the home page, and you'll see your statistic of your usage and all the things that you can do. Now, the first thing you want to do is to add money to your RunPod account, because as I said, you have to pay just a little bit to use a GPU. So just to let you see, if you go on the pods tab, you can see all the GPU that you have. So you have the RTX 5090, and it will cost 89 cents an hour. You have the 490, that is the one that I recommend, because it's only 60 cents an hour and it's powerful enough. Or if you need something super strong, you can go with even the H2000. You can go with even the H200, that is amazing, and it is $3.79 an hour. The B200 is $5.99 an hour, and you can see 180 gigabytes of VRAM and 283 gigabytes of RAM. This is a beast, but of course you don't need something this powerful. You need something like a 4090, 24 gigabytes of VRAM and 46 gigabytes of RAM. This is powerful enough to all your generation. Or if you want something a little bit more quicker, you can go with the newer model, the 5090. It will cost a little bit more. But as you can see, you can rent these powerful GPUs and use it as you want. So, but before renting a GPU, you have to rent some storage, because of course you want to be able to save your files in a storage. Otherwise, you will rent a GPU, you will run ComfyUI, but it won't save you your workflow, it won't save anything. So you want to deploy a GPU with a storage. So this is your second step. The first one is to have some money to spend. You can start with just $10, is more than fine to use it a little bit. So if you go on storage, as you can see, I already have one, but I'll make a new one so that I can show you how it works. So you hit this new network volume, and here you can see a lot of different data center, and here are the GPUs. So if you are from the United States, you will use these United States. If you are from Europe, you will use this. If you are from Canada, you will use this. And if you are from Japan, you will use this. But before, which one, let's say that you are in Europe like me, which one of those 5 is the best one? So you click on it and you see all the GPUs that you have available with a little bit of a score. So in this one, you have the 490 and the 5090 with a little score. If you go with this one, you have the 4090 that is top score, and the 5090, and a lot more others. This one, very little. This one, not bad. And this one, okay. If you are from the United States, same thing. You can see which one have the best GPU that you want to use. So for now, I will use this one. I will give it a name. So ComfyUI tutorial is more than fine. And I will add some gigabytes of volume to my storage. So to start, 50 gigabytes is enough, and it will cost you $3.50 a month. So 0.07 per gigabyte. And this one, it won't you won't spend it right away, the 350, but you will spend as much as you use it. I choose this one with these GPUs. I name it ComfyUI tutorial, and I add 50 gigabytes. So create network volume. Perfect. And here it is. Now, third step, you want to use this volume to deploy your GPU. So you click it, okay, and you go with deploy pod with volume. Now, here you will have your server and your volume. If you have more than one, as you can see, I can decide which one to use. So ComfyUI tutorial, the one that I made before. Here now you can choose which GPU to use, and as you can see, so now this is just to install ComfyUI and to use it in your storage. So as this is the first installation and it will require a bit of time, I will recommend you to use the cheapest one, and then when ComfyUI is ready to go, we can update it and use the more fast one. So for now, just use this one, that is the cheapest one, that is more than enough to make your ComfyUI go. Once we are inside ComfyUI, I will show you how to exit, re-enter it with a different GPU. So I select this, and here, in my POD template, I have to change it because I want to run ComfyUI. So I click Change Template, and I search for ComfyUI. Now, there are a lot of different templates. The one that I recommend you is this one, ComfyUI Manager Permanent Disk, the version 2.4.0. As you can see, this one is the old one, this one is the new one. Why this? Because if you deploy this one, you will have ComfyUI directly with the manager, and having the manager in ComfyUI is essential to run ComfyUI smoothly and to make everything very easily. So I will click it. And of course, you have to check two things. Always if you're using the right storage and if you're using the right template. So 24 cents an hour, and we go with deploy on demand. Now, it will take a little bit of time. Now, as you can see, we are now in this page after it will load up, and we have Jupyter Lab not ready and ComfyUI not ready. So if you go into logs here, we can see that it is downloading all the resources that we need, and it will take a while. So usually it's 10-15 minutes, maybe 20 if it is slow, but as you can see, it is downloading all that we need. Once it finishes all this process, we will have Jupyter Lab ready. So I'll skip it, fast forward until it is all ready and set to go. Perfect. Now, as you can see, Jupyter Lab is ready to go. If you go in logs, we can see that Jupyter Lab started 11:29 and it has begun at 11:17. So 12 minutes to load up everything. So now we go in the connect page, we open Jupyter Lab, and this is basically your folders for everything about ComfyUI. So you have to start ComfyUI from there, from here, and you will manage ComfyUI from here. It's basically like having the folders of your own PC, but instead of having it in your own PC and occupy your memory and so on, you will have here inside Jupyter Lab. So one last thing, to run ComfyUI, we go into terminal, we enter this command, and this is very easy. After 2 or 3 times you will remember it, no problem, but for the first 1 or 2 times you have to enter this, and it is a little bit ineffective, I will say, but I will leave this command in the description so that you can just copy and paste it. Is /run_gpu.sh. So basically is this one with a / in front, and you press enter. Now it will begin doing its thing, and again, the first time is a little bit slower, the second time it will be a little bit much faster. So now we'll wait until our ComfyUI here will say that is ready, just like this one. Perfect. Now, when you see all startup tasks have been completed, it means that it is ready to deploy. As you can see, it is ready. So now you click on ComfyUI, and you are inside ComfyUI right now. It will say to choose a template. So here in the template section, you can see all the templates. You can see the Flux one, the image one, video, 3D models, and so on. So if you want, here you can choose the template that you want. For example, in-paint, out-paint. If you go on Flux, you can see Flux Snell, Flux Crea Dev. You can see Flux Context Dev, and so on. If you go on video, here you have 1.2.2, 1.2.2, and so on. So we'll see it later. So here is your ComfyUI, and remember that I told you to use a specific template. It is because you have here on the top corner side, you have here the manager, and this will be your best friend inside ComfyUI, and we'll see it why later on in another video. For now, let's start with choosing a template so that you can see really quickly how you can use ComfyUI, and after in another video we will go in depth into everything. So here is your workspace. You can enter your nodes manually, so if you double click and you see load image and you go with the string and so on. But of course it's much easier to go here and browse templates, or you can access the templates from here as well. And let's say that we want to use Flux Crea Dev, that is one of the best model to create images. So we click it, and we have this message, missing node models. This is super normal, so don't worry about it. Now we will see how to get around. So we have 4 missing models that we have to download. So what you have to do is to get these 4 models into your Jupyter Lab page, but you don't just download it. You want to copy the URL and paste it. Now I will show you exactly everything. So let's start with the first one. We copy the URL, we go into our Jupyter Lab, we open a new tab, double click on Comfy, we will search models and we double click it. And this one, as we saw here, is a text encoders. So on Jupyter Labs here, we will have text encoders. We'll open up the page. We go into the terminal and make sure that you are in text encoders. We digit wget space and we paste it. Okay, and now we enter it. This way it will download the thing that we are missing. Now, again, with the next one, this is another text encoder, so copy the URL, go here, we are already in text encoders, so wget space and paste, and enter. It is downloading, so you just have to wait until this is finished. Of course, depending on your connection, it will be faster or slower, so don't worry, just let him finish. Perfect, now the download has finished. We can close this one, open a new tab. So now we open a new tab and we see that we have to download this VAE. So copy the URL, go into Comfy. I will do the entire process again so that you can see, but you can make it much quicker. So models and the VAE terminal and wget paste. And now the last thing, it is a diffusion model. So open a new tab, go into models, diffusion models, terminal, wget, we copy the URL, and this is 11 gigabytes, so it will take a bit. We paste it, and we start downloading it. So I will return to this later when it will be finished, and this is the last thing that we need to download to make Flux Crea running. So as soon as this one have finished, I will return to you. Perfect. Now it's finished, so we can close, go back to Comfy, and we will have this model that is Flux Crea. But as I told you before, we now have our slow CPU. So we want to exit, re-enter with a faster and a much more powerful GPU. So to exit, you just click the X on your tab page on your browser, and we'll be here. We have to click on terminate, and this is very, very, very important. When you finish to use ComfyUI, you click terminate. Otherwise, if you forgot to terminate it in RunPod, you will the system will think that you are using ComfyUI, and and you will waste all the money that you have inside RunPod. So when you finish your session in ComfyUI, always terminate your pod. So you are safe. Now, I'll terminate it. Okay, now we want to deploy a much more faster GPU. So we go in storage, in this one, that is the one we use, deploy, and now we can choose to run it the RTX 4090, or we can choose the 5090, but the 4090 is more than enough, in my opinion, and it will cost 30 cents an hour less. So we'll click it. Here we make sure that the template is the right one, so I'll have to change template. We will search for ComfyUI, and again I will link the template in the description so that it's easier for you to find it. But as a general rule, as you can see, these one are all have this little blue image, and the one that we want to use is the first one with the red one. So it is pretty simple to get it. Okay, so deploy on demand. And now it will be a little bit faster in this process of deploying the GPU that we need. Perfect. Now our ComfyUI is ready. So we click it. And here we go. So this is a generic workflow that we'll see in a bit. And since I forgot to save the Flux Crea one, we'll have to get it from here. So Flux, we go Flux Crea Dev, perfect. But as you can see, we've already downloaded everything, so it won't show the pop-up if you have to download this, because we have it. So this is a Flux Crea model. Here we can close this, and as you can see, if we go with run, it will start running the model. Now, since this is the first time that we run a new model, it will take a little bit more time because it has to load all the model. Now, from the second time, it will go much, much faster. So we'll have to wait just a little bit. And as you can see here in the green highlight, you can see where the generation is at this point. If the highlight one is red, it will means that there is something wrong. So you can check the status of your operation. Now, here on load diffusion model, as you can see here, it is loading the model and it will take a little bit more time. So now it's here on the case sampler and it is generating our image, as you can see here. And here is the image that it generates. So pretty good image. Now, what if we change a little bit of the prompt, and so that you can see that it will be much faster? I'll go here in the prompt section and I paste my prompt and I hit run. So as you can see, we are already here and it is already generating my image. So the prompt was a portrait of a woman with red hair, green eyes, freckles on the face, in a chair, in a lush forest, with a backpack on the ground at her feet. So it followed the prompt precisely, and here our generation. So this is how you can use Flux Crea as a model. Now, if you want to save your model, you go here on the left corner and you save. You can enter the name that you want. So let's say Flux Crea, and you confirm. Now, here in the workflow, now you will have your Flux Crea workflow, and this is saved. This is why we deploy our GPU with a storage on RunPod. That's why we have a storage to deploy our GPU, because otherwise we won't save our workflow. So now, what if we want to use another model? So we go in templates, and we want to use Flux Context Dev to edit our images. So we click it, and of course we will have to download something, because we don't have the text encoders and we don't have the diffusion models. So we copy the URL, we go on Jupyter Lab, we go on ComfyUI, models. This was the text encoders. So under text encoders, we go in the terminal, wget space, paste it, and run it. Perfect. Now I go into here, copy the URL. This is a diffusion model, so I will go in diffusion model. I'll open up a new tab, terminal. We are in diffusion model, wget space paste, and we run it. So this is 11 gigabytes plus 5 gigabytes, so 15 gigabytes total. And if you go on the RunPod, if you go on telemetry, here you can see how much volume did you use and how much time did you spend, the disk, and so on. So of course, if you use a lot of different models, so let's say Flux Crea, Flux Dev, maybe you use SDXL, maybe 1, 2.2, of course you will need more gigabytes of storage. And another thing is, when you download something, let's say this Flux Crea Dev, for example, that is 11 gigabytes, I can right click it and delete it, so I will save some space. So if you download maybe a model and you realize that you don't need anymore that model, you can go onto diffusion models where you save it and right click it and delete it. But now our model here is ready, so we can go back, and here this is the model of Flux Context. So as you can see, there are a lot of different nodes. Each one of these boxes here is a node, so a lot of nodes. Now we have to search the load image, because Flux Context Dev is an editor for your image. So here we upload our file. So I have uploaded this one with the orange bikini in the beach, and now I have a prompt. So the girl is wearing a white dress and she is walking in a city. And now we click it run. So again, as this one is the first time that you are using this model, so it is the first time that we are using Flux Context Dev, it will take a little bit more time. From the second one, it will take it will be much faster to use the model. So, and this is valid for every single model that you use. The first time it will be slower. From the second time on, it will be much faster, because it will already have loaded all the models that it need, and it will start from the case sampler here, and we will see what it is the case sampler in another video where we will go into every little details of ComfyUI. So as you can see, here is generating the image. Here there's a little line that we can see the advancement of our generation. And here we have our image. So same girl, same necklace, but she's wearing a completely different dress. Now, if you want to change it once more, the girl is in the forest and she is wearing. Now, if we click run, it will start directly from here, as you can see, and it is already generating our image. So it is much faster compared to previously. And she is in the forest, she's wearing a tracksuit, so perfect. Now, so these are the basic Flux Crea model and Flux context model. Of course, since this is open source and this is ComfyUI, I can modify and add parameters, add new nodes, add everything I want. So just to show you real quickly, if I drag and drop all of these, here I want to delete this, to clone this one right here, I'll clip it here, and I want to remove this one, and attach it here. Perfect. Now, this one is my negative prompt. So I can enter my negative, and to make it more simple, I'll make it this one green and this one red. Also, I can just make negative and positive. Perfect. So now I have added a negative prompt text, so I can add the negative. So everything I don't want. I don't want a cartoon, I don't want an anime, I don't want extra limbs, deform or distorted, blurry, low resolution, and so on. And if I click run, it will add my negative prompts to the image. Now it is generating the image, and here we have our new image of the girl in the forest with the backpack, the camping chair, she's sitting, and this is perfect. So it follows my prompt here and my negative prompt there. So as you can see, ComfyUI is super customizable, and in the next video we will see how to create a custom workflow, so from scratch, how we can change, like we did this one with the negative prompt, how we can maybe add an image enhancer to have our image even more detailed and more beautiful, and so on. We will see how to use ComfyUI in every little single part. We will see how to use the manager to install custom nodes, to install some checkpoints, and so on. So this is just to show you how you can use RunPod to deploy a GPU powerful enough to use ComfyUI. So again, this is saved. If I want to save my Flux context, I will go with save, and I'll save Flux context. So we will have our workflow ready. Since I modified this Crea 1, I can save it, so it will have our modification saved. Now, super quickly, I forgot to tell you two things about RunPod and ComfyUI. The first is where to find the image that you saved, because of course, if you generate images, you want to save those images and you want to have it right away. So when you save an image with ComfyUI through RunPod, you go into Jupyter Lab, in ComfyUI, output, so right under models, output here, and here you will have the image that you've generated, like this one, or this one, and for some models, you will have a dedicated folder, like Flux Crea, for example. If I open this folder, there are all the pics that we've generated with Flux Crea. So this is just to show you where you will find all the pics that you have created. So again, in ComfyUI and output. Perfect. The second thing is a little thing that why I like to run ComfyUI on RunPod. So I'll tell you this one, and after that we'll jump right into how to terminate safely ComfyUI when you finish using it. Now, another thing that I like of deploying a GPU and using ComfyUI in RunPod is that you are a little bit more safer. In which way? ComfyUI is line of codes, okay? And if you download a workflow, if you download a checkpoint, download some LoRa's, and so on, you will add line of codes in here, okay? So if you messed up, if you download a broken code, if you download something that will slow down or even crack the entire ComfyUI setup, with RunPod you are safer because you can always discard your storage and your ComfyUI and start a new one. If you install ComfyUI on your local PC, you have to make sure that everything works fine. So, in this regard, I think that running ComfyUI in RunPods is a little bit safer. But what if you have a workflow that you really like? Let's take this one as an example, of course. This is the Flux one that I added a negative prompt, so nothing difficult, nothing crazy, but it's just an example. So I really like this workflow, and I want to have it saved so that if tomorrow I'll break up my ComfyUI, this workflow is saved and I can use it in every scenario. So to save the workflow that you like, you go here on the Comfy logo, in File, and export workflow. You will do a name and confirm, and it will download your file in a .json file. That is what you want. So if I open a new tab and I import my JSON file right here, I'll have my workflow. So in this way, even if you break your Comfy code or there are some problems and you can run your Comfy and you have to start all over again, creating on RunPods a new storage unit and running a completely clear ComfyUI, you can still import the workflow that you saved in this way. So again, you go here on the logo, File, and Export. So this way you are safe. If you have a crazy workflow that you invested hours and hours of time, the next day you download something that crack up your Comfy, it will be a very bad problem, because or you will resolve the code manually or with the help of some AI like some ChatGPT or something, but sometimes it's very difficult to put your hands in the code and fix it yourself. So with this method you are much safer and your workflow will be always safe. So again, I recommend you to save the workflow that you like and that you use the most in a proper folder in your PC, so you will have it every single time you want, even if something broke. And that's why I really like to use RunPod to run ComfyUI. So perfect. Now that we've seen why I like ComfyUI with RunPod, we will learn how to terminate in a safe way ComfyUI when you finish to do your work. And now we can close, return to my pods and terminate so that we will exit safely. So I'll terminate the pod and here it is. So if I go in the home page, I can see that today, so for our session, I'll, with the installation, that it will take a little bit of time and so on, to run all this process, it will take like a little more than 1 hour. We will spend 57 cents for the pod and 15 cents for the storage. So it's super cheap. You can do a lot of different things. You can create a lot of different images in a super easy way. So stay tuned for the next video where we go into everything that you need to know to run ComfyUI properly and to start creating your images or your videos. And of course, let me know if you have some questions. If you need something, just hit me up with a DM or make a post in the community so that everyone can see and everyone can help you. And if you want me to go into something specific about ComfyUI, just let me know and I'll do my best to make a video about it. So I'll see you in the next video, and in the meantime, have a good day.